welcome to My Safe Word is More. My name is Al Jackson. I'm joined by the lovely, incredible Corinne Kaplan. Corinne, as I take off my Russian mafia tracksuit and come down to just a concerned suburban black dad, can you tell everybody you stopped by and I had on a white turtleneck in the house by myself?
You do. And I mean, you guys, you can always go to our Instagram to see some behind the scenes stuff and just like see what our setup looks like. But I have to tell you, for no reason, he is literally in a turtleneck. But this man keeps the studio at Bikram levels. Like, I came here unexpectedly today and I'm in cashmere and I was like, listen to me. You're going to have to titrate the air. I cannot sit in my own sweat. He is, I mean, everywhere in his house is, first of all, he doesn't believe in white lights. It's dimmed, like disco lighting everywhere. And it is Bikram. It's 110 degrees.
And you know what I think, you and I, you've been really killing it with the IG game. And I sent you pictures from the robbery. I appreciate you guys. And I wanted to say, first of all, to the audience, all the comments y'all have made about me, I really, Corinne comes in with her fan base and her people. And I expected your people to be loyal and really not really be feeling me at first. It's like, no, like when mom brings her new boyfriend in after dad, like there's no way. But just all the positivity and just nice comments is tough for this old black man to take, but I appreciate it. And I love y'all. And what I was going to say is I feel like I shortchanged everybody because I forgot to include the video of what my house looked like as I walked through it when it was cleaned out to how it looks now.
Yeah.
So I will send that will be on the Instagram as you're hearing this now.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be up there. Well, let's get into it because I have some real interesting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy that you called me. I mean, has this just been boiling? You're like, because everybody, she just texted me like, y'all can record today. And, I'm on the couch chilling. And I'm like, yo, come through. Yeah. And here you are. So why are you here?
I know. First, I just want to talk a little bit about our process because I think from an outside perspective looking in, it must be, first of all, it's difficult when anyone says to me, like, what's your podcast about? I'm like, me? I don't know. Whatever happened to me that week. It's the Diary of Corinne Kaplan. And like, I think that, and for most people, they're like, like, what's your, do you have a lane? No, it's just explicit and irreverent. And it's just my life story. So basically what happens, our process is that we try and record at least once a week. Right. But you have to think about it in terms of like, we already recorded this week, but I'm coming back in again. And I said to Al, like, oh, I'll probably come on Sunday. Cause I gotta like live some life and have some stories in between. And then like 2 days passed and a bunch of crazy shit happened. And I was like, yo, I'm coming in. I got some stuff. So
and I was like, come through.
Yeah.
So what's the tea?
Okay. I'm going to open with this because Lord knows this poor gentleman, this poor guy. Okay. So as you heard, I think episode 1, where I told you I've only slid into one DM of a famous person in my life.
Yes.
And it was Tommy Dewey. And I got a lot of fans that were like, I know what show you're talking about. So the show I was talking about that I fell for him is Casual. Mind you, I've never met him. And
mind you, the people you're talking to have also tried to slide those DMs.
I know. And so like so many people were like, oh, I get it. And so I decided, because when we were recording that episode, for whatever reason, my Instagram wouldn't pull up and I couldn't say exactly what I had written. I just gave you like the gist of it. I went back in because I was curious, just because like I re-listened to that podcast, like as we do when we get them to edit. And I listened to it and I was like, I wonder what I did say. Cause I know I'm like a little more clever than the average bear.
Yes.
So I go back in. Okay. You are going to die. I go back in and I see on November 1st, 2021, I sent this. Much like every other single female, I loved your character on Casual and figured maybe you're single in real life. Also, Raya is for chumps. So hi, I'm Corinne.
Oh.
Okay.
That gave me a little tinkle right there.
Well, you want to get a full body cringe tinkle? January 20th, 2022.
So some time has passed.
He responded with a crying emoji. I was fucked up on Ambien and never saw it because I promised you I would have responded. So I didn't respond to him, although crying emoji isn't like the best entry point to a conversation. Still, he did respond.
He did.
So I just want to say that now I'm batting 1 for 1, right? Like I sent one message.
Yes. So are you going to push your luck? Because now you guys are running into that weird thing.
Yes, it's been a full year.
I was going to say you're establishing this weird timeline.
Yeah, it's been a full year. So it seems like now might be a good time. But how did I miss? I mean, I know how I missed it. I had to have been on Ambien because there's no way if I mean, I love this guy. Of course. I mean, I never saw it until I went in to look at that message.
See, I love Ambien Corinne. So that's my girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's my girl.
Well,
is
Ambient Corinne was like, oh, he responded. Cool. I'm not going to write back. And like real Corinne had no idea. So
you have a real life Severance.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that show? Like that's what you forget. And then it's just
Mm-hmm.
like Ambient Corinne comes and does something insane, but it's logical and practical and step by step, and it's carried out,
Mm-hmm.
and no one's the worse for it. And then you don't remember a minute of it. That's the weird thing.
Yeah.
It's not like you're waking up naked in your kitchen or something like, because that's kind of common. I'm assuming it's not common for people to be productive in their real life. You were more productive than I was in my 20s on Ambien, not knowing anything.
As I told you, the one tweet I had that went viral, I wrote that on Ambien. I didn't remember anything. I woke up and it was everywhere. I was the front page of Reddit, and I was like, "Oh, Ambien Corinne can be funny."
Ambien Corinne is killing the game.
So that happened, and then I had something else that was just so ridiculous and pressing that
Wait, did you write back?
No, I haven't done anything with it yet. I needed to come here and talk it out.
So
what's your advice?
Okay.
I mean, it's been a year since he wrote me the smiley crying emoji. I mean, here's the problem. There's a high probability that if I talk about him enough, someone is going to use that to slide into his DMs and be like, did you know this chick has been podcasting about you?
And they're going to try and get with him like, we need to talk on the phone to discuss this. Yeah, I do.
Mean, here's my stretch goal for this podcast, okay?
Which
in the sales world, we say like you give like a different goal to like internally than you do to Wall Street. So the stretch goal internally is like this entire point of the podcast is that I end up with Tommy Dewey. And this is our story.
That could also be like one of those like Lifetime rom-coms. It's like, you know, podcast to love pod or some shit. And you got to do something.
I stress to you, this is the only person that I didn't even Google how tall he was. I have to put him at I clock him at between 6 and 6'1", just visually speaking. But normally I would need that information.
What are you basing that on? Do you see his hand size or something?
No.
You have something to scale? Is he standing next to the Eiffel Tower?
Well, you want to know a funny thing? I have a friend, well, she passed away, so I don't think she'd care if I said anything. So she used to always, forever and ever, every guy she took home, she's like, he had the biggest dick. I mean, everybody. And so at a certain point, me and my best friend, Matt, were like, honestly, like it's the boy who cried dick. Like you've been saying this. So she started when the guy would pass out, she would take a remote control and hold it up next to his dick. So all the dick pictures we got, which were, I guess, not authorized, she would either ask them to put like the remote control next to it or she would place it there. Because we had to have for scale because it was just ridiculous. There's no way you just keep stumbling into the biggest dicks in all of Los Angeles.
That's true. But also there has to be consistency with the remote you're using because the Apple remote, anybody's going to look like a world-class porn star. Yes. But the one that's for the stereo, if you're seeing that, then you've been blessed.
Exactly.
That's what's up. All right.
So where the hell was I? I was just telling you the dick story for a reason.
So we were leaving. Well,
I
didn't give you my advice.
Yeah.
With Tommy.
Yeah. Well, I can't imagine what his dick looks like. But the reason I think he's tall is because I roughly understood how tall one of his co-stars are, and like judging from how much taller he is, he has to be at least 6, I think.
Okay.
I could easily Google this, but I'm not going to because this is the allure of this ridiculous random person who has less Instagram followers than I do.
See,
who clearly has a girlfriend or is homosexual because I have not been able to move this forward. But maybe he had a girlfriend and they broke up and now I slide in a year later and what's up?
Yeah. And maybe, timing is everything. Maybe this is a funny story you're telling 10 years from now at your 10-year anniversary is like, and I didn't respond for a year. And that's your go-to story that every married couple has. So maybe this is it, but you have to respond. But here's how I feel like you have to respond.
Tell me. You
have to, first of all, you are naturally funny. So you have to make a joke out of this. You'd be like, hey, we are, our messages are coming in real time. If this is the dark ages, like if y'all were using like pigeons, like this is how long on horseback
during
would
the
take.
war in Morse code. Yeah.
Exactly. So like make a joke. Be funny and be like, hey, clearly I'm still interested. So I promise if you write me back, hey, I'll get back to you in at least a month or two. Like say something funny and then like see where it goes.
So you don't think I should throw out my cholesterol levels and my blood pressure
I don't
and all my stats?
If you want to run him away.
I was thinking of being slightly more aggressive.
Yeah, then
Cal
a year?
just cocked his head like, you already sent the first message.
I mean, and he clearly responded. I'm sure.
I told you he watches all my stories.
90, there it is. And there's like, I love you and I don't watch all your stories. Like, you know.
By the way, definitely saw the story when I announced our first podcast, and he's in the first podcast. If he's even a little curious, he would know that we are meant to be.
There's nobody on the planet Earth that can listen to somebody say their name on a podcast and they've never technically met these two people and not listen to the rest of them. So what's up, T?
I've now dedicated 2 podcasts. He's on 2 different podcasts.
Right. He's almost 50% of our content is this man who you've never met. So like now you drag me into this. It's like we went to the club and I told you to stop looking to those girls because there's 5 of them and there's one of you and I'm going to have to get involved. Next thing I know, I just hear a glass break and just hear you say something unintelligible. And I'm like, how do I get these girls off of Corinne without being talk show host beats up girl
well,
on leave from the army?
I've renamed the podcast. My safe word is more Tommy.
Yeah.
This poor guy.
So
and he's probably got a girlfriend that's like going to cut me.
No, well,
look, so be it. Come for me, bitch. I got a lot of knives.
And also,
knuckles.
let's just say this. And this is no shot at his partner, whomever they are. I'm sure they're lovely. But this is just big facts on this. If your man is looking at some chick's stories in perpetuity.
In perpetuity is the perfect way to describe it.
Is that really your man?
It's been since November of 21 that he's been watching my stories.
Your man's out in these streets.
This is the perfect segue into the other big ticket item that I needed to tell you.
I love it.
Okay.
Talking about like TVs from Best Buy.
Yes. I've recently been watching. I have a friend that's on The Price is Right, and it just happens to be on when I'm at the gym. So I will just watch her because I know her.
Yeah.
And it's just an idiotically stupid.
That's why people love it.
I hate it so much. But you think you have the best job in the world. She's got the best job. Yeah. She doesn't have to memorize a goddamn thing. She's just
yeah. Do we not agree this is a jet ski? Where's my check? Yeah. That's awesome. Good for you, sis.
Anyways, okay. So I'm going to try and tell the story with leaving I'm definitely going to leave the person anonymous because I'll explain and you'll understand. All right. In October, I was at a big meeting that is just a medical convention. I go to those all the time. Pretty much every other month I have to go to one of those. And at this particular convention, I met a guy who has nothing, I want to be very clear, has nothing to do with what I do for work. But
just say Tommy and get it over with.
I wish. No, he was a physician. He's not in the specialty that I work with. Hey, we have nothing to do with each other. But we met at this conference and he was really cute, way young, but that's how I like them.
Mm-hmm. When you say way young, walk us through this.
Yeah, he was a resident. So generally speaking, the ballpark, the arena I play in is obviously already existing doctors who have been through residency, fellowship, and now are practicing, right? I mean, yes, I do sometimes meet with residents and fellows, but not often. And in these convention situations, there aren't a ton of them there. There's a couple that will go that have posters to present. Whatever, this information is not important. Just want to be clear. He's a resident and he was 28. Well, we start kicking it and we end up hanging out and hooking up. And he's we were only overlapping for one night there. So he starts messaging me, machine gun messaging me all day, every day from the point after we met. And I was like, listen, I'm very down to hang. You can come, his residency was, I guess I'll just say it, his residency was in
what state? Just say the state.
Okay. In Georgia.
Okay.
And so I was just hey, come visit, when you have your time off, I'll come to you, you come to me, whatever. Let's kick it. I'm very much interested in, I could care less where you live. I don't care what religion you are. There's very little reasoning for me to be no. If I can make it work, I'll make, I got Southwest miles. Let's just hang, let's kick it. Let's see if it works.
That's what's up. That's the best mentality I've ever heard.
He was messaging me nonstop.
Okay. So talk to us about what does nonstop mean to you?
So every day, 20 messages a day,
Shut
a lot.
Up. Yo.
Now, when this was going on, I was so basically, I don't like small talk. Okay. I always said on my resume under special skills, it would say shutting down small talk. I don't like to have small talk. So I'm in it to win it. If you are coming here, great. I'll have the small talk. But if you watch me on any dating app, anyone who's ever matched me will tell you the first message I send is, where do you live? Do you want to have a drink? I'm not trying to figure out any kind of the preamble is unnecessary to me.
Yeah, you
So
like a
this
dude
guy
that got
is
12 hours to live. You
Yeah.
want to do this or not?
Yeah. I mean, should have got off the pot. So in this case, he's just message, constantly going back and forth. So I was like, when are you, when are you coming? Like, what's going on? Like, do you want to book a flight? Like, he was thinking about coming in like 3 weeks. And so I was just trying to sort that out. So apparently, I don't know what he snapped on, but like, we talked about this earlier about like the narrative you put in your head, like when somebody decides they don't want to talk to you anymore, or whatever it is. I don't know this fucking guy. I spent one night with him, and we've had a bunch of stupid text messaging back and forth. Like, I didn't care. And I'll read you exactly what he said and then exactly what I said. So he sends me a message and he says, so full transparency, I think you're an awesome person with some crazy experiences and stories and are insanely attractive. But I think we were looking for different things in terms of dating and relationship. I had a ton of fun meeting you, and I'm so glad that you invited me to that dinner. I'm really enjoying getting to know you, but I don't think I would be ready for any sort of long distance dating or commitment at this point, and want you to know that so we both have our expectations on the same page. So I'm like, yeah, dude, this is the conversation I tried to have like while we were together. Like, it's fine if we never talk. I could care less. Like, it was fun.
Right.
It's chalk it up to nothing. You're significantly younger. You're in the all right. So I wrote back, all good. Cool to meet you too. I'm not interested in a pen pal, so probably not necessary to communicate anymore without any intent to hang out. No hard feelings here. Best of luck to you in finding what you're looking for. So then he responds, same to you. If you're ever in Georgia, I'm still more than happy to grab a drink and hang out. And if I'm in Denver, I'm going to be hitting you up whether you like it or not. I never respond. A week passes. He messages me, hey, can I ask you a question?
Oh, you just did. So whack.
And
Go ahead.
That's like somebody who leaves a voicemail and says, hey, I just need to ask you a favor. Call me back. Absolutely not. I will not be calling you back. So I don't respond. Another week, he sends question mark. I don't respond. So no more responding has occurred. Nothing has happened. That person is in, ghost land, right? Now, I get I was noticing on my Instagram, somebody followed me. He has a very unique first and last name. And the person that followed me was him. And I was like, that's an odd move. It's January. We met in October. Obviously, it never went anywhere. So intuitively, because I had spent the time talking to him, I knew he's going for a fellowship, which would be announced in like November-ish. And I was just curious where he matched for fellowship. When I put his name in the system, want to know what come up?
Denver.
No, worse. TheKnot.com for his wedding registry.
Oh.
And in this, there's a full how they met, like paragraphs and paragraphs. They've been together for 6 years.
No.
They live together. He surprise proposed to her in their hometown where they're both from. He's been with her forever. And they're getting married in March. And this man was, so remember going back to me telling everyone out there that you could think you did something wrong? That entire message he sent me, which was like this gentle letdown.
Right.
It's because he was fucking engaged to someone else. Like, that's what was going on here. Now, I'm telling you, I can read how they met, dating, grad school, and where they lived, and then how they got engaged, and where are they now, and their favorite spots, and all the pictures. And I'm like, wow.
But there's a registry there.
Oh, and
so,
yes.
Well, I think we need to ask our listeners what you should gift the happy couple.
Well, okay, so
it's got to be passive aggressive.
This brings up a really important point because I am on this Don't Date Denver site where they put pictures of guys up and they're always like, girls, does anyone own this guy? And then all these girls are trying, I'm dating him. Anyways, and there's a very like women helping women vibe on this. I actually only use it to see if there's any cute guys I've missed on the dating apps. Like, I am always like,
here's some guys we know aren't trying to commit.
Yeah. And so I think the first thing that any woke woman would say is like, you now have the fiance's first and last name. Why don't you get a hold of her and let her know? And I am here to tell you, I don't want that smoke. I don't care what happens to this chick. She's not my responsibility. We are not friends. And I don't need to ruin this guy's life. I could care less. I am not interested in being that person. I am just not.
Yes. And you're not. I know.
So you're lucky, dude, who knows who you are.
That's what I was about to say, buddy.
Yeah, you really
picked the right one, buddy.
You got lucky.
It's just like I said about my home burglary from my ex. You picked the right guy at the right time in his life, because another version of me 7 years ago that's still drinking vodka sodas like it's just fun water.
Yep.
Bro, we would not be doing this podcast right now. So I'll just tell you, dude, that's super weak. And especially you got off in that, like you said, I don't want a pen pal, had a great time, high five,
but like,
and we out. And he, That's a power thing.
Well,
he wanted to have the last word.
So interestingly, my best friend Franny, who is a life coach and dating coach, she was with me when he kept needling, like, hey, I have a question. Question mark? Like over the course of time. And she's like, oh, he's not gonna stop because he's irritated that you're not responding. And now he just followed me on Instagram. So I'm assuming a message is coming and he doesn't know that I know. I mean, it wasn't that hard to unravel. I mean, it's literally a novel of like everything that he's been doing for the last.
Yeah. And there's no way he's not going to listen to this, because I was about to say, you know what you should do is pretend like you don't know anything that's going on. Text him and be like, hey, the weekend he's getting married. Be like, hey, I'm going to be in the Georgia area. And figure out where it is and just be in, like, pick a venue like right next door. I'm going to be at the bookstore. There's a big signing.
Ooh.
Please talk.
Okay. I wonder if I could say I'm going, like, I happen to be in town because I'm going to a wedding this weekend with a date. I don't know make it like he could think I'm going to his wedding by accident.
Yes, that would be hilarious.
So guys, if I don't hear from him, which would mean he doesn't listen to this, which he's like a busy person in fellowship, like he's probably
busy people don't leave 20 unanswered messages. No, you got time, bro.
So, okay, but if he doesn't listen to this and there's a chance that I could pull that prank, I promise you that I will do that.
Okay. Do you know how much joy? It's like, I don't want to get happy. Mm-hmm. It's like when your parents go, we're probably going to go to Disney World. And you're like, all right. Like, mm-hmm. I'm excited because I feel like there's a good chance that he is busy and he's not going to hear this. And you just have to you would just have to play it off wherever that venue is. You're right next door. I'm going to be right next door to this. Like, I don't know, kind of.
I am going to a wedding at this venue. Like, I think I'm just going to go right for the jugular.
What if
just for full panic effect?
Yes. What if he panics and tells us?
I mean,
it's like, hey, dog, you did it.
Yeah, like you sold yourself out.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta tell you, I've been caught cheating. I used to be a pretty big cheater.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I could see that.
So one of my mottos has always been cheat first. So I feel like as soon as you get into any kind of exclusive relationship, it is your job to cheat so that you have that in the chamber. So if he cheats on you, you go, well, I already cheated on you. But anyways, I used to be a massive
that's
cheater.
That's one way to approach it.
I know.
I do like that you said it like, because that's what you do. Yeah. It's like other people have chosen to just not do that.
Cheat. Yeah.
I have chosen to cheat most of the time.
Yeah, I've cheated on everybody. Now, that being said, I've been in a lot of situations where I was granted that option because, I dated married men and like, you have no business unless you're leaving your wife. Like I can do whatever I want while you're, technically still married.
Would you have married guys that would still get jealous?
Yeah. For sure.
I feel like they'd be even more protective because they're like, I did find a woman that's like down with this situation, but you're mine still.
The problem is that I fell into this trap. What I figured out by dating married guys was that I know where they are when they're not with me. And I know they don't like their wife. That's why they're with me. And they're stuck in these situations. They've got kids at home. So it was a luxury because I had somebody who's, first of all, in order to, if you're a married guy dating somebody in general, most of the time, I don't know what kind of fuckery you'd be about if that guy's not like buying you nice things and trying to keep you happy. Right. And like I said, there's no threat of me ever possibly getting involved and telling the wife, like, it's just not, I don't want to do that. Right. But it was so nice because I'd go out and do whatever. I'd go on other dates and like, I'm pretty transparent about it when I'm dating somebody who's got a wife and there's nothing they can do about it. But I know where they are and they're miserable. Like on a Friday night when they're home with their wife and they're watching, whatever, Family Feud with the kids, whatever the hell you watch with kids, I'm out there hollering and meeting new guys.
And he knows that.
Of course.
He feels it. And that's why he gets the text at 9 because that's like when your night's starting because he wants to remind you one more time like, hey, I'm still here. I still care about you. So please don't because I have to watch, some Dateline special with my wife in bed.
Yeah. But you see, after I went, because I stopped the married nonsense. I mean, I still dabble in it, but I pretty much, I used to only date married guys. Like that was my whole wheelhouse. I know. This is
that that's what you do. Some people teach neonatal CPR to people for free, and other people I'd bang married guys.
I'm doing God's work, man. These guys are miserable.
You kind of are, and it's like,
and I have 100% track record of them leaving the wife. So I have successfully gotten them out of, and each one of them will tell you, the long-term one that the chronic disappointment one, he'll tell you that I thought I like ruined his family. And he's like, no, you saved me. I didn't know I could do better. I didn't know I could have a different life. Like he really like credits me with like saving his life. So
that's great.
Yeah. So
And
I mean, I am a hero too. I'm not saying not all heroes wear capes.
Some heroes wear nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and also I feel like this is going to be your triumphant return back to TV. Corinne Kaplan, the homewrecker. And they bring you in like the flip these houses people, but you go and do a house where a couple's arguing in the living room.
All right.
Yeah. And you're like, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your watches from upstairs and then get ready to take anything you can carry.
Yeah.
I have a much shorter and weirder interaction. And it's funny because it's cool to talk about this on the pod because we talked about this just as friends. Because I didn't even think it's funny because you guys know I respond ridiculously online. And when we first started hanging out, I was looking to date.
Yeah.
Obviously, off the back of the disaster that was my soiree into being almost married. And so I was on Tinder, as you do, at 45. Hello, I did it. I made it, Mom. Your successful TV son is on Tinder, kicking it.
Yeah.
And I matched with this super attractive woman named Amy. And quite frankly, I'm not even a guy that has low self-esteem, but I'm like, you're out of my league. This is probably a bot, but you know, we'll see.
I just want to say that it's not fair that like I have been on these apps since their inception. Like I can't get off of them. I don't understand. Like Al pretty much like went on, you know, got off like a couple months.
I treat them like trolleys in San Francisco. Yeah. It's just like I hop on and hop off. Like, yeah, that pool is just a matter of time before.
Well, in the Don't Date Denver page, which I cannot recommend enough, if you can get into the group, men can't get into it, but like they have them in each city, and I really it's such juicy tea. At some point, I'll like compile some stuff to read to you, which is definitely going to get me kicked out of.
On the paper.
It'll get me kicked out of the group.
It has been written.
What they'll do is they'll go, oh, this guy's been on the apps forever. Oh, and a billion people will be like, I went out with him. He was a flake. I went out with him. He was misogynistic. I went out with him. He made me pay. And like, I feel like if there was a boy version of this, my ass has been on these apps. Like, you've seen me. Everyone has seen me. I have to get off and then get back on. Or
they probably think your account is like a tester account.
Yes.
To just like see how many swipes. This is what a good-looking woman in Denver looks like. How many swipes will that average? It looks like there's not a real person behind it. Like, take it as a compliment. You look like a bot. This person looked like a bot. And I can't even read. I deleted my account. But luckily I sent you screenshots.
Yes. Which one do you want to start with? I'll be the girl.
Let's start with it just says 7:05 at the top. So I'll pick up with my last sentence, which is, I don't know, some dumb intro, and then I go, anyway, happy we matched, Amy.
I'm also glad we can match. Nice to meet you, Jason Ming, and my name is Ruth.
Okay. My name is not Jason Ming on the apps. That she just made that up. No one's ever said Jason Ming. No one said it. It's never been said until just now.
Yeah.
And so
Jason Ming sounds like the name for your dick or something.
It does.
You want to meet Jason Ming?
Yeah, or how you check into a hotel when you are cheating on your wife.
Yes.
Jason Ming's back. You went to the same suite, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right then I'm done. So I said she said that at 7:05. So at 7:30 I say, hello, Ming Ruth. My name is Jason. Will you take this rose? It's a line from my favorite black comedy, The Bachelorette.
It's so good. Can I just tell you a random story? Because at this point, I'm so far gone from my like I care about saying people's names that I'll just say when I was in New York, I was flirting with Benicio del Toro, and he was like, "Do you want to come back to my hotel?" It's he tells me the hotel, and he goes, the name is Jorge Cucaracha." It's like, I'm not going back to your hotel. I cannot check in for Jorge Cucaracha.
I feel like you have to just for the story. Like, thank you, Mrs. Cucaracha. We'll like some towels sent up.
I mean, it just was too hoary for me. But yeah.
Come on, man. All right.
Okay, good. Let's do the other one.
So then, wait. Oh, I'm not done.
Oh, it's the same. I realize this is the same.
This is just one conversation.
Okay, but then it's still my turn, no?
Yes. So at the top, she says, LOL.
You are a rose. This looks good. I like Amy / Ruth. Then she says, I invested in a clothing company
in Los Angeles. Now it's my main business. And I also do some side business investments. I like to spend more time on my life and I like to travel. What do you do? And take it away, Al.
And I will finish. I'll bring it on home with this. I say, I usually find myself looking to invest in new, unproven clothing companies. Maybe you've heard of Jungle Clap out of the UK, Swamp Yank out of Algiers. Do you have any investments I could look at? My portfolio is in my ex's iCloud, and I don't want to go snooping around in that cloud because the last time it got rained on, and it was when my ex kicked me out of the house. Oh, the last time I did that, I got rained on because my ex kicked me out of the house naked for the whole neighborhood to see, no less.
I don't understand how you're such a good creative writer.
I'm sorry, but I'm still emotional. That's all in caps. I'm ready to invest. Damn it. Ready to invest. Those are all individual words. My three mothers raised me right, though. I held my head high, marched through the courtyard of our old apartment before finally finding shelter in the apartment of my old weed dealer. Been high on life ever since. Can't wait to hear from you. I'm ready to invest if you are. And that was the end of our relationship.
Yeah, sad.
Well, I wanted to paint a picture of just me naked outside, waiting for Amy and her clothing pitch, which who knows? That could have been the next, some kind of line at Macy's or something.
It was a glorious interaction.
Are there male bots?
Yes, tons.
Really?
But I actually don't need to message. Like I get mostly on Hinge, I get liked by them, and then I can immediately. I'll tell you, telltale sign. Oh, they're good looking and live in Denver. A.
Wow.
B.
Denver
they all have
dropped 3%.
Piss poor grammar. They'll have like every word is capitalized. Like it doesn't make any sense, and they're always from another country. So because I think that I don't know, I am assuming yes they are bots, but there's a reason they're doing this. And allegedly, I learned this from Don't Date Denver. Because I was like, who cares? Like, because the first thing they'll do, very first thing is, do you have a WhatsApp?
No, WhatsApp. Yes, yep. I knew you were going to say it.
Like I never I wouldn't give somebody a WhatsApp anyway, even if it wasn't a bot. Like that's just not. I'm not weird. I communicate using normal cell phones.
Matter of fact, her next line was, "If you want, we can communicate on IG or WhatsApp."
There you go.
That's crazy.
Now, my confusion is I didn't understand what the end game is. I know they're at least going to get thrown off the site any day now because they're doing something wrong, right? Like Hinge will figure it out, and usually those matches disappear.
Right.
And I get that's why you'd want to take it off the app. However, I couldn't understand why my phone number and WhatsApp, like what does that do for you? And apparently there is ways to reverse engineer with your phone number and your name and like where you live. There are ways to scam you. So you don't want to just give your number out. Like, I used to feel like it's an innocent, you could make out with whoever you want, nothing really happened, and you could give your phone number to whoever you want. And it turns out those two things may not be true anymore.
I don't think, and you know who it's going to get to? It's going to get guys my age that just haven't been in these streets. Mm-hmm. So like, I'm divorced, but I'm a tenured professor at Middleburg State, and I'll get on here and date a young woman, that kind of looks like one of my students. They look at me nicely, and they get on here, and they're a boomer with it, and they get scammed immediately. So on top of getting half their shit taken, then they get scammed, and then they get the other half, and it's on its way to Nigeria or wherever they're doing scams.
Yeah, I mean, I find it really irritating. I wish they would crack down more on that. I actually matched with somebody who, I mean, I don't even know. This story has I can't even land the plane. He's just really hot. And I thought for sure it was a bot. And now that I've talked to him a little bit, he's clearly a real person who really lives in Denver. So something's definitely wrong with him. I'll figure out what it is. But
there's good looking people.
No, there's not. That's it.
Do you just have to maybe.
And your other co-hosts. That's it.
Maybe COVID people got into facials and exfoliating. And now people are coming out of their caves and everybody's looking good.
Well, did they get limb lengthening? Because they're all really tiny here as well. They're really short.
All right. Well, we gotta, I want to stay before we get to our viewer email, which I appreciate you guys writing in. Please continue to do so. Where, Corinne?
My safe word is moreadvice@gmail.com. And you can also we have a website now, and you can submit questions that way, though it's probably easier to just send us an email. I am so excited, Al. What do we have on the docket today?
Wait, before we get to that,
yes.
I wanted to hear, you said something on the phone about like a weird Facebook job or something.
Yes.
What? Talk to me.
You guys, I have been teasing this to Al. I saw this, and it's
it screamed that like I have to get this in front of Al because it's so ridiculous. So I'm on buy, sell, trade, mile high. Listen to me. I don't use TikTok. I really can't stand that. I don't, you know how people are like, I lost 4 hours of my life on TikTok. I can't sit still for more than 3 videos. I think it's all so dumb, but I will go into the dumbest sites on Facebook. I'm so grandma-ish.
Really?
Like the idea of what people buy, sell, and trade is, even though I'm not doing any of those 3 things, I am really interested in like what people
I
are
can't
doing.
believe of all the things you've ever said on this podcast, I was not ready for, like, my mouth is wide open. I'm like, you're on Facebook clicking on shit.
I am constantly joining new groups.
God, no. You're in a group on Facebook.
Lots of them. Listen, the open mic group is how I ended up doing my stand-up.
That is hilarious.
I fuck with Facebook.
Right.
Okay, so I see this and I was like, this I've never seen before. Okay. We are selling a fully functional business that we never got started. All of the work has been done. And I'm already like, you know, Ambient Corinne is like, I'm like, I want to like live the dream one day and just, I'm going to podcast and then I'm going to start my own business. So I'm like, I'm actually like interested. The next sentence, the business is simple. Okay. I'm really excited. World's first rat tail for your sunglasses. This is not a joke, you guys. This is a legit business that you can buy. Website and domain name, www.tailinthemail.com.
Oh, that sounds like
around 6,000 rat tails available in both brown and black colors. They have an Instagram page, a bank account, and an LLC. All tails will come inside a manila shippable envelope. We have sold a few tails to friends and family, but haven't really ran any ads. Could be an easy business for the right person. Cost is around $1. So margins are very good on this business. And then there's a picture of a hot guy wearing like a lady's hat with a rat tail. And I am crying at the idea. Al, do you or do you not want to buy this business?
I think we should get in because it probably is a great markup that you probably get 1 billion of those things for what, 5 cents?
I know what rat tails are because I grew up in the 80s and 90s, but I was not aware that other people remember or knew. Like, there's a market of people that want rat tails to attach their sunglasses.
You could, because it's a novelty, stupid gift.
It's very stupid.
It's just like the same. Remember, like back in the day, like when we were younger and they had the hat that was just the 2 boobs were on top of it. And it's like, is that any less ridiculous than this?
This is very absurd. But can I just say that I saved up all my money as a kid to get the helmet that you're supposed to put 2 beer cans on but I was like 8. And so I could only have soda, but I saw it on The Simpsons and I was like, I have to have it. You have to have it. It's a novelty. And I had to order it through a catalog. It took like 8 weeks to get to me. Yes.
Oh, that's
then I walked around with.
What were the sodas in there?
I'm sure diet something. I wasn't allowed to have real soda. So I don't know. Is it idiotic? I don't know why my parents didn't tell me no.
Because they were just like, wait, just let her put the hat on. Let it happen. Your parents are people. They want to be entertained too.
I wasn't even, how much soda am I consuming that I need to double fist in a helmet fashion?
It's like, you're not, when you see that item, you're not thinking about practicality, about ounces of fluid in your belly. Because 1 soda is plenty. 2 is like you're doing a man versus food challenge.
Right.
That's crazy town.
So, okay. I want to point out that there's absolutely no way I didn't do a PowerPoint presentation on why I needed to have this. Like, I'm sure that I was like, I could walk around the house. My hands are free. Like, there's no way. There's no way I was like, it'll just be fun. No. I am Corinne Kaplan. I'm sure I put on a full slideshow.
I will just put this out to the universe. You have direct connection with your parents. So like, I stand by this. If they have any video of you doing anything close to that, I will pay $200 per video.
Okay, wait.
That is my hand to God.
Do you know what they do have? This is so difficult to explain because it's so stupid. So I started a store called Corinne's Stuff when I was a kid, and I wasn't allowed to be out of the house. I couldn't, like, it wasn't a lemonade stand. It was just in the house, and I was only selling it to like my grandparents or whoever came through the house. And I had
captive market.
Yes, and I was selling fake cigarettes that I made with straw. I bent a straw in half, and I put black construction paper, and then like.
Was this in Juvie Hall?
I had fake tattoos. Okay, I'd put the tattoo, I'd draw on saran wrap, and then I'd like stamp it on you. No, don't ask me why my parents didn't want to know why the hell I was selling tattoos and cigarettes, but that's what I was selling at my bodega.
Why is our daughter selling shanks in the living room?
Yes. And so for Hanukkah every year, I did it for a long time. I asked for a stamp, so I had an official stamp. I used to take my mom's old checkbook so I could keep books. I got business cards made. It wasn't a very official thing for many years. And so one of the things that I started doing was I began to create, this is going to be very difficult to explain because it's so idiotic. I realized that I could take hand soap, put it in a cup, spray some perfume in it, dry it, scrape it till it was a powder, and then put it in my mom's old Rouge compacts. And then I could tell people they could dab the powder on as like perfume. Okay. It was genius, actually.
That's gel makeup.
Yes.
It really is.
Totally. Okay. I don't know how they make, but that's
how they make it.
Okay. That's
how they make it.
Okay. But that wasn't all. I started memorizing commercials and then making my mom film me. This is where I'm going with this because I'm sure she has this. So I memorized commercials, made my mom film me so I could get better at it. And then I created my own commercials for my perfume line.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. If you'd like to hear, I mean, this is not for my perfume line, but one of the commercials I memorized that I used to love was Reynolds Wrap can freeze. Reynolds Wrap wraps right. Fights freezer burn. You're going to learn how Reynolds Wrap can freeze. Takes the cold, takes the heat from casseroles to dinner and meat. Use Reynolds Wrap to freeze. Shh.
Yeah. I like that. That's a nice little jingle.
Yeah. So I would memorize all these jingles, like, because I just wanted to be, I don't know why. I wanted to be like a commercial actress. Like, no one wants to be that. Everyone wants to be, Julia Roberts.
Right.
But
so
I
you
was
get to LA and you're like, I'll pretend like I like Pizza Hut.
Yeah. I felt strongly that I could be on that stupid Shoppers Network that like nobody watches.
QVC?
Yes.
First of all, a lot of people watch that.
Okay. I'd like to be on that. How do you get on that? Where's the audition for that? Can you curse on there? Because I feel like that's going to be problematic.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
A lot of beeping out.
Do you think you could appeal to Midwestern grandmothers? Because I'm assuming that's the demo. That's got to be the demo. Like women over 74.
It has to be. It has to be people that don't know how to use the internet. I mean, how has that not gone under? We don't have people going door to door encyclopedia salesmen anymore.
Yeah.
How are we still having QVC? How is that a thing?
Because I heard their hook and what they do. It's not about the products. Because, what they do is, first of all, they want to make sure that you can sell, but they want to make sure that, because it's somebody watching, it's just, I don't know if you saw the Miss Cleo documentary. It's really lonely people that want to talk. And QVC, what you got to do is make them your friend. So I'm like, oh, guys, look, I have this dry erase marker. I didn't think we were going to have this today. We have it. I said, well, we're not going to market it because we don't have the cap. And they were like, we have the cap. And I'm like, well, can I go on now? Are my friends going to be able to get this at an affordable price? Because we're not going to. And if you talk like that,
you really nailed it.
You pull those people in, and it's like, Corinne can sell you anything. It doesn't matter what the item is.
Let me just tell you, the worst idea in the world to me is that I have to call a number to get something. Like the idea that, but they're doing it because lonely people, now they have somebody to be on the phone with. Can I just tell you, I did something very embarrassing yesterday, but I stand behind my decision. My alarm company, which you know how anal I am about my alarm system.
Yes.
I got this crazy call that was like, your alarm system is not like indicating properly. Like it's not going to police and fire. Like they can't get a signal. So it's just a fake alarm at this point, which I pay out the wazoo for. And so they were like, please hold if you want to do a manual test. I wasn't home. I was 9 minutes from my house. This woman gets on the phone and I was like, hi, what's going on? And she's like, we need to do a manual test. And I was like, I'm 9 minutes from my house. I don't want to call back because it's impossible to get somebody on the phone when you need to do that.
Of course.
So you're going to stay on the phone with me for 9 minutes. And she was like, okay. I said, so how do you like working at ADT? And she's like, oh, I really love it. I think I'm changing people's lives. I was like, well, I don't think you are. Like,
did you say that?
Yeah, I was like,
oh my God.
I go, how?
Correct.
How are you changing
Jesus
anyone's
Christ.
life? She goes, well, look at you. You might have gotten burgled tonight and nobody would have come to your rescue.
Burgled?
Yeah. She was actually lovely. She talked to me for 9 full minutes, got to know her. And
it sounds like you secretly wanted to keep the friendship going.
In my head, I was like, I got to keep her on the phone because I literally, like, I can't call back. But I was like, I can't just keep her on the phone because I said to her, you could just put me on hold. She goes, I can't do that. And I was like, so, all right, we'll just talk for 9 minutes. And amazingly, Al, you know what I didn't do? I didn't tell her I was on Survivor.
Oh, you should have. She would have been really engaged.
I just didn't want to answer Survivor questions.
Yeah, but she could have given you some kind of crazy upgrade package where like it's got like a moat around your crib or something. Dope. Built-in
I think I'm
door.
more, I was concerned. I was telling her all this information. Like, I'm going to be out of town for this many days. Like, I'm like, this bitch has my address, knows my alarm system isn't working. I don't know if this is the best conversation either.
Yeah. I wonder how much they vet those people. I never thought about that.
Yeah. She has all the information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your alarm system was down again. It's so weird.
Yeah. And if I may, this is unrelated to anything, but just because I mentioned Survivor, I have been recognized twice this week.
Ooh.
This morning, the spin instructor, like, I could tell something was up because he doesn't know my name. I've never taken this class before. And while they do have people's names, there's 35 people in the spin room. And he just kept being like, oh, all right, Corinne, you got it. And I was like, okay, first of all, most people, even if they saw my name, don't yell it out because they don't know how to say it.
Right.
And I was like, and he was a gay instructor. And I was like, I bet you he knows, he knows who I am. And he put it together, especially because he now has my name on the bike. Well, when I was leaving, he like ran after me and he's like, Corinne. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, it was so great to have you in class. And I want to introduce myself. And I didn't want to embarrass him, but I'm positive there were 35 people in this class. He did not talk to a single other person. He just was so excited to meet me. And I was like, and he was a great teacher.
Maybe those other 34 need to level up.
Get on a reality show.
Yeah.
And
make it happen, Captain.
Bring something to the table. All right. Now give me my email.
Well, let's bring something to somebody's table. And that somebody will be somebody whose name I love. Levins.
Yes, I know who this person is.
Oh, okay. Well,
this is a long-time listener.
Yeah, because he's real cash with it. So definitely your story checks out. He says,
yeah.
Hey, Corinne, I need some advice. I'm an engineer in the oil and gas industry in Texas, and I'm fed up with my company. We were sold a couple of years ago, and after pay cuts in 2020, which haven't been given back, there have been zero cost of living increases during this crazy inflation period. This should be on CNBC. It's giving we don't give a shit about the employees vibes. I really want to relocate to a city where there are more opportunities for both career and dating, but I haven't had much luck landing interviews, and I think it is possibly because I live in a rural part of the state, thus would need to relocate, and that's more difficult logistics for the hiring company, etc.
Not really.
You would know.
Yeah.
So why do you say not really?
So a couple of things go into play here. So first of all, I've had reload packages before and actually lost that reload package. So they relocated me from same company, but I went from New York to LA, and I had to be there for a full year to claim the $5,000 reload package. And I got on Survivor and I quit the job after 4 months and I had to give it back. I had the same thing in another company, except it was $10,000. But here's the thing. First of all, companies do have the bandwidth for that. They want good talent, and like $5,000 is not a ton of money to get that person. And the other thing is you can also just volunteer to relocate yourself. You can do that. If you think the job is good enough, you can say, like in your cover letter, I am looking to relocate, or I'm open to relocating, no expectations, something like that. So that you're not out of the running just because now, at least nowadays, it's so common to do your first few interviews via Zoom,
right,
that you should not, I'm saying basically you should not be kicked out of the pile just based solely on the fact that you don't live where they're hiring. That doesn't make sense to me.
That's good. Well, that's a little encouragement.
And also he's in oil and gas, which they're always in weird ass places.
Yeah. And I think that's where he is. I think he's dealing with some isolation out here. So he says, he's saying his company would prefer local candidates over non-local. I feel like I'm well qualified for these roles I'm applying to. Mm-hmm. I've considered quitting and moving without a job lined up because perhaps I would be a more desirable candidate if I lived there already. But that leaves the obvious risk of being unemployed and going through savings.
No. First of all, desperation is the worst cologne. You do not want to be jobless looking for a job. It's a terrible idea. Do not do that.
Right.
I mean, there's a million things you can do before you do that.
Your face says it. Your face says panic. Like, yeah. Please, God.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Yes, definitely. All right. So, but I'm also not being successful with my current method of just applying left and right with very few callbacks. I just feel stuck. Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, and the Denver area are the industry hub cities I've been looking in. Anyway, I'm just really ready for a change, and I don't know how to go about it without making a risky financial decision. Any advice? What are your go-to methods for making a career move? Good question.
Yeah.
Side note, it is so puzzling to me how the news is saying unemployment is so low and demand for workers is so high, yet I'm finding it impossible to get a call back. It feels like we're being lied to. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with so much of what he's saying. The job market is a mess. I have a ton of friends that have been laid off. My industry has like imploded. And all I keep seeing is these companies, first they lay off 1,000 employees and then they have 200 openings. Why didn't you put those employees in that opening? Like there's a bunch of shit going on, shenanigans that I don't understand. With regards to getting jobs. So something that's really important is you have to figure out how to stand out. So one of the things people do nowadays is they hire these resume writing services. I personally, I think whenever because I do hiring, I see a lot of resumes and I can tell the ones that have spent the money on a resume writer and they're much better than the regular people. But in the end, what the person is doing to stand out to me, I feel like, if I were in your shoes, I don't know how often you're using LinkedIn or if you have LinkedIn Premium, but one of the most important things you can do is get exactly to the person who's the hiring manager. So one of the things I'll do if I was looking for a job, I would say, okay, this is the opening. Who can I find on LinkedIn that looks like the job title that would be a manager for this position, that this would be a direct report for? And it doesn't matter if it's not the actual person. If it's just somebody with a similar title that will respond to me, I want to get this person's name and email. And then when I do, that person I am sending a direct message to, and I will usually send a video message. I'll attach my resume, but I'll have a video message. And because no one else is doing that, I'm going to stand out. And I believe wholeheartedly, like if you interview me, I've pretty much always gotten jobs I've interviewed for. I'm pretty savvy in the interview process. Like, but my resume looks like a ransom note. Like I have been everywhere. I have sold in every specialty. I only stay places 2 to 3 years. Like I have to overcome that. And
you
so
have the same resume that like a Somali pirate would
yes.
have, just like
it's just
all
cut
over
out
the West Coast.
Cut out letters from newspaper articles. Yeah. Yeah. And I know, but like I know that if you get me on the phone, I could speak to how I was super successful in each of these roles, how I launched each of these products, why I left, how I furthered my career, why I'm at such a high salary now. I wouldn't be if I was complacent and stayed at the same job. So like I can talk through it, but I need them to give me a chance. And so part of that is doing the due diligence of finding, I'm not trying to just send my shit into a pile with a recruiter that I'm dependent on, because I want to be able to get in front of the right person. So I feel like if you do, I would pay for LinkedIn Premium. It's about $40 a month. First month is free. I think it's like very, very useful.
LinkedIn, you're on notice. We need an advertiser. Come on
yeah.
That was a great plug. That's great advice.
But it's true because that I think there's a lot of sites. There's Monster, there's Indeed, there's Glassdoor, whatever, all that. I don't think any of them even come close to LinkedIn. And the reason you're using LinkedIn again is because you're trying to get the email and the first and last name of the person who can, even if it, sometimes I will also do this. Okay. Cause I know, and I don't know if this is the same in oil and gas, but in my industry, if I get an internal referral, first of all, if I'm internally referred, I automatically guaranteed myself at least a phone screen. And also the person that internally refers me gets a chunk of change. Like at my last company, it was like $10,000 if you got somebody hired, because they were going to pay that to a recruiter anyway. So a lot of times I'll reach out, I'll just find people that are working at that company. And I'll be like, hey, I know you don't know me. This is my resume. Would you be willing to internally refer me if we got on a call? Because I know that person then gets money.
Right.
And if I'm not a crazy lunatic, they don't give a shit. So almost always they say yes. And then I've got a track. I hope that's helpful.
It is, but that was incredibly helpful on the practical side,
yes,
the financial side, the employment side. But now let's get to the heart of it. It's scary to make a move. It's easier to kind of, wherever he is living right now, it's easier to not move. Wherever he is used to drinking and going to the grocery store, the idea of him moving he seems like
sounds
paralyzed
ready to
by that.
go.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he sounds like he's like desperately trying to get out. I will tell anybody this, like if you have not moved multiple times in your life, you're doing it wrong. Like there's nothing better than going to a new city and finding your new favorite diner, your new favorite bar, like your favorite boutique. I actually have trouble with, I'm going on 4 years in Denver and I'm like, shit, I know around year 6, I'm going to start, and I have a 30-year mortgage. Like I'm going to start being like, ooh, I need a new city. This shit has gotten old. I know all of these things. I know everybody here.
You can't leave me. Don't even play with that.
I mean, that's why the podcast has to be successful, and then I can't go anywhere.
Absolutely. That's why I like that. I like to keep my women kept like that. All my women I've dated, I started a podcast.
If you're lucky, you'll get in a cage.
First of all, I'm still down. I think so. You're just saying, just get ready. You know, he says, because he says here, I considered quitting and moving without a job. But then you said like that's super thirsty. So
I wouldn't do that.
So don't move until you have a job.
Correct.
But when you have a job, get up. Bro.
But also volunteer. He sounds like he's pretty desperate to get out. Don't let the relocation package stop you. Like I would openly, like if I were in his shoes, depending on, I mean, it doesn't cost that much to move. I mean, you can do it for like under $2,000, I think.
Right.
And so in my mind, like, what's $2,000? Like I would get to the point of desperation. Like I understand that your key demographic is hiring someone that already lives in this city. I'm letting you know that I will move to that city and it's not your responsibility. Like, you can take the onus off of them if you want. If you think that'll give you a better shot.
Sound like you're hiring an adult.
What you're hiring is somebody that passionately, desperately wants to work for that company. And that's what you have to say. Not that you really want to live in Denver or Dallas or one of these cities. You want this company. And why do you want this company? And why is that so important to you? And it's so important that you will give up the reload package. These are things that make you stand out in the interview process.
That's incredible advice.
Thank you.
And also just sitting across from you, like as you were talking, I was like, I would hire her because you seem like somebody that is not too polite to say what is actually happening, which is a lot of times what needs to happen in a workplace. Like our systems department is shit right now. And using all this corporate talk, we should circle back and discuss it. Somebody needs to be like, yo, we're going to go into business in 4 years if this keeps up. And I feel like you're the kind of person that would do that. And so,
I'm pretty like hot on the company culture being like, where I work now is a place where I could be like, what is everyone doing? Why is this failing? Like, you know, it's pretty, we're at, like, my CEO is awesome and he drops F-bombs all the time in meetings. Like, you know, it's very like, we mean business and we're out there for like making good products, but everyone has to be accountable. There is no we'll circle back. We don't talk like that in my company. And I would not join a company that does that.
I love that.
Before we close out today, I have had so many requests for more Yelp reviews. Albert Jackson, what do you have? What have you reviewed lately?
I will not let the people down. We'll get right into this Yelp review. It is Handy. They are a company. I know it sounds crazy, right?
A massage.
Yeah,
company?
right. I wish. This is even worse than that kind of Handy. This is a company that is kind of like contracted out to you if you go through a company like I went through Wayfair.
Yeah.
And so I had a pergola sent, and I can't do that with two people.
Right.
So I have.
Oh my God! Why am I acting like I know what this is?
Yes.
So, I have it on. Before you start, can I just say my Handy story? This is why I deleted the app.
Please.
I had a gentleman come and hang my TV because I'm an invalid and I definitely can't hang a TV. And when he came in, he was like, he walks in and he's like, "Oh, you're very beautiful." And I was like,
"No, he did not.
Fuck, I don't like the way this is starting." Then I have a 60x48 portrait of myself and he goes, "Is that you?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Let me see your eyes up close. Are they that blue?" And I was like, "Just hang the fucking TV." It took this man like 4 hours to hang the TV. That being said, while he was hanging the TV, because I had stood there talking to him because I'm not an asshole, he clearly did not know what he was doing. But I have a second TV that I was thinking I might, and it's the same process. And apparently my TV hanger thing was really old and it was hard to get it off and blah, blah, blah. So I said to him, you know, I might do my other TV. And he's like, "Would you like to exchange numbers? So that way you don't have to use the app. I can make more money, but also you can get a hold of me. You know, I know who you are." And I said, "Sure." That night, he drunk dialed me.
No, he did not. No.
Sure did.
No, Corinne.
Yes, he left a rambling voicemail and then texted me. And then the next day had to do the tour of apologies and was like, "I'm so sorry. That wasn't professional of me.
What was
I had too much to drink." And I was like, this is why you don't get a random person to come to your home when you live as a single woman. Like, it was all bad news.
Yeah, I had a similar experience.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, but let's get to the.
I'll get to the review, and then like our experiences are so similar that it's gonna sound like we're lying. It's crazy. It's not the drunken voicemail, but let's get going. Now, mind you, I'm super happy buying my pergola that you can find outside.
I know.
Right now.
I love your pergola.
All right, so here we go. What can I say about Handy that I haven't already screamed into my pillow?
Great opener.
Dealing with this company is a lot like, it's slow, regressive. Both parties definitely know there's a better way, but neither one knows how to stop what's happening. There's a lot of friction, and in the end, there's a huge mess that is yet to be cleaned up. That has been my situation with Handy. I hired them to construct my beautiful pergola, which I purchased from Wayfair. Wayfair was amazing. Handy was amazing, and then they charged me for work that they did not do.
Oh.
I simply asked them for a refund as they did no work, and they proceeded to tell me it would take 4 to 6 weeks to get a check to me. Now, side note,
check. Just put the money back.
Oh, we will discuss that. We will discuss this check. We will discuss this check.
You guys just
yeah. Oh my God, you hit a nerve right there, and you could tell.
I could tell.
This check, girl. This check. But the reason, side note, the reason it's all happening is I ordered the pergola. And the pergola came a day late. So the Handy people, 2 Handy guys came, 2 Handy employees came, but there was no pergola yet. So I sent them home. But they were all both like, "Take my number." So yeah, put that aside. And so by the time the pergola came, I just put it together. So it was like all good. So that's why they literally did no work. And I continue. Okay. They proceeded to tell me it would take 4 to 6 weeks to get a check. And I was not happy with that. In 2023, you can download an app that allows you to rent a private jet in minutes. You can log on to a website and in seconds find long-lost family members through DNA data. that scans all of human history,
mm-hmm.
but not Handy.
Here.
They're real 7 years ago with it. 4 to 6 weeks would be reasonable if I lived in Deadwood in the late 1800s. But alas, I waited. I wrote to my family on scrolls with feathers dipped in ink, tended to my pa's farm, and even met my best girl at an ether frolic down by the creek.
Also, the fact that they're going to use stamps to make this transaction happen, like
4 to 6 weeks.
Come on.
2 months. I waited for 2 months before my check arrived. It was for $126. Super boo. $126 is just a number that they made up. I think they Googled, what do poor people think is a lot of money? I followed up again. Like the thing cost $399. Like, I don't know where they got $100. They just made up that number. And so I followed up again, and they proceeded to tell me it would take another 4 to 6 weeks.
What?
For a second check to be reissued. And their response, send the picture of the check that they sent to me of the 126 to prove I'm not lying.
Oh, wow.
Yo.
This is customer service
This is crazy town.
This is how you turn someone into a Karen.
Yes, and I've spoken to my customer. I've spoken to their customer service, and we'll get to that as we bring this plane in for a landing. So I write to prove that I'm not lying. The nerve. So I quickly fired up my printing press and ran off a ditto and gave it to a man on a horseback that got it onto the 310 to Yuma steam engine. That should be arriving to Handy headquarters.
Specificity. It's in the details, man.
So I say that should be arriving at Handy headquarters in a fortnight or two. You see, Handy as a concept has always sucked. As a company, it stinks as well. Their customer service is unnecessarily hostile. It's like they send all their employees to hear TED Talks from the meanest lunch ladies from around the world and then bring that energy to their company. Well done, Handy. We are worse off for having known each other.
Yeah. Amen. It's also a terrible name.
How do you not? I remember there was a breakfast that you lived in LA. Do you remember like near LAX, there was a breakfast place called Grinder?
Yes, I totally do.
And it was just
they had really good pancakes. Yeah.
Like,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know, like they're good, just like probably an old couple like saved up their whole life. We went to open a bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you should ask your grandkids, like, does Grinder mean anything else now? So yeah.
The marketing on these things.
So that's it. And really quickly, the Handy story.
Yeah, tell me.
Because I don't want to tease something and then leave it. The guys that came, one guy came, he was like, just call me on the low, don't use the site or whatever. Another dude comes. And he comes the next day. My pergola is already done, but I was on a Bumble date at that time, and the girl was at the crib. And so, like, it was a first date. So
first date, she comes over to your house. Wow,
so we're sitting on the, we were just sitting on the couch. So I'm like, dang, maybe he can do something. So I had him put together a dresser, and he was like, hey, I can. I had tons of boxes because that was during the rebuild. And so he's like, I can throw these boxes away. So he started kind of doing like small handiwork for me. So I had him come back the next day. And, I kept noticing like when I was making food, like he was looking like at me cook, like, yo. So I was like, yo, do you want some pasta? And he's like, yeah. And come to find out, and this is no shade, whatever. We all been down. But I think he's basically living in his car. And like at first, I didn't mind giving him a little bit of work. And he was like, I've been sober, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's dope. And one day, because I let him in my backyard, you can't get in my house. And
you just made it sound like an animal.
Yeah, and
I let him out in the backyard.
The chain was long enough.
Yeah,
it's Django. And so like, I come back and I open my fence where he had been working, and he did good work and for a good price. I opened my fence,
and he got out.
Worse, he was in my fence in my backyard with. And he just told me he's sober with the biggest like bootleg dab ring. Like he was taking dabs and working. Like that's how high his tolerance was. Anybody that's out there is like, oh, I'll take a dab. No, you won't. A dab will destroy like a lifelong weed. Like you have to be a certain, because that involves like that butane lighter, that real cracky lighter, and like the glass pipes that fit together. Shit. Like it was a rig. It was several parts constructed into one drug making rig, and he was on his knees. Like, because it was big enough, he had to sit on the ground. Oh my God,
he brought this into your backyard?
Yes.
That's wild.
And how
did you know it wasn't like meth or something else?
We don't. and we don't.
Mm-mm.
I mean, that would explain his work ethic. It was amazing.
I thought you were gonna say you walked outside and like he had set up camp. Like,
he could. Yeah, after what just happened to me, I'd be like, hadn't been 2 weeks, buddy. Yeah, but that was the thing. And then
Holy
like, so
shit.
I stopped hiring. And this is like a sad note to show him, but like I stopped hiring, and like just like you get random text messages from random dudes, it was just like, do you have any more work? Please, man. Please, I need work. And it's just, I had to stop responding.
Yeah.
I had, because he was like, hit me up. I'm on TV live.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, do you need your back plow read? I'm like, bro, I don't know. You know,
you see, they're supposed to be reactive services, not proactive.
Yeah.
Like I call you when I need something. You don't call me and say like, do you need anything?
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
I'm sure the last day I hired him, he's like, hey, all your back windows of your car got broken out strangely. Do you need help with that?
No shit.
Like,
well, at least he wasn't trying to fuck you, because that's definitely what the guy that was drunk dialing me was trying for.
And I mean, what was the tone of the drunk dial? Was it unintelligible?
It was slurred, but it was like, I'm out and I thought of you, and I thought like maybe if you're around and you want to come meet me, I'm at this bar. Like, yeah. And then if it was followed by a text message, like, not sure if you got my message, but and then
I want you to hear that.
Yeah. The next morning he had to run it back.
Oh my God. Yes, there's just a different world of adults that at least like when you know that you're that slurry, you don't call somebody you don't know. That's what the air quote booty calls for. Like, hey, I'm drunk and I come over. You don't call somebody like, what is you gonna he's your Prince Charming. Like, I'm so glad you called blacked out. Thank you.
Yeah. But like also I want to say that this is why I am like the biggest person. I'm like the nicest, greatest human.
I love you.
Because when he texted me, like, I'm sorry, that wasn't very professional, I could have either not responded or written back, like, yeah, get some help. Like, this is really inappropriate behavior. Like, I'm going to report you. No, I wrote back, happens to the best of us.
What a class act.
Because you know what? I don't need you walking around all day, anxiety riddled. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Just don't come around here no more.
There you go. And he can't.
I'm not calling you for services.
He's emasculated himself. He knows now. Now you could probably get some more free TV hanging. Be like, do you want me to talk about what a lightweight you are? Or do you want to come hang these curtains?
Yeah, I'm good on not using that app or him again. But now I have you. You can hang stuff.
That's right. I love home stuff, and I'm here for you. And guess what? We're here for y'all.
Yeah. This is the Morehouse.
This is the Morehouse. You said that on our first episode.
I love that.
It will stay the Morehouse for as long as there's a breath in this body. Yes. Once again, side note, personal note, I really appreciate you guys saying all those nice things. And I appreciate you, Coco, for like, it's like she hits me up and she says all these nice things y'all are saying. You have to say, as a black man trying to constantly get in touch with his feelings. I got a daughter, you know what I'm saying? I always want to be loving. So like, it's still tough for me to take all that positivity. But with that said, I appreciate y'all. And please, I appreciate you, Corinne.
Thank you. I appreciate the hell out of you. I would like you guys, please rate and review. I feel like I rate and review. Like, see, Al does his Yelp reviews. I like to rate and review podcasts because I know it helps them find their footing, and we're new, so it would help us very much. And we really enjoy reading those. So thank you for everyone who has done it so far.
Speaking of help, if there's anybody in these streets that would like to come help out with this pod, I'm having fun holding it down. But we could definitely use some interns that are fired up and want to come aboard this pirate ship that we just cast off with. So if y'all want to hire us, y'all should do that. And with that said, if you want to get with us, Corinne, where could they find you?
Yeah, you can. Well, if you want to you could send your resume and your video for an internship that's unpaid to my Safe Word is More Advice. And I am at Corinne Sanity on Twitter and Instagram, at Corinne Kaplan on TikTok. Al, where can they find you?
Oh, they can just find me on Twitter. You know me, same OG, at Al Jackson. On TikTok at Al Jackson 24/7. And on Facebook, just for you, Corinne, at Al Jackson Comedy or Al Jackson fan page. I would love some more fans on my fan page, so I appreciate y'all. And I guess I have to say it. I'm sad, but puff of smoke. We out.
Yay, bye.